uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son, actions over words, baby boy, is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come back sports, talking way too much, world come back sports, talking way too much, world come back
First in the building, you already know what it is. Big Bunch and Boxing on deck. Yes, sir. WCS. Want to give a big shout out to the hottest chat in the MF and Game A side official. You already know. Stickin' Boys Fishing the Sports on deck. Salute WCS. Happy Sunday morning, chat fam. Yes, sir. It's all about that, man. Shout out to everyone on this Sunday. I don't know if you're in church, you're supposed to be paying attention, to the sermon and God's word, but hey, bless you. God bless you for having another day of life, man, and actually tuning in to the word, you know what I'm saying, the WCS, talking this boxing shit, you know what I'm saying? If you're in the building, please make and allow yourself to donate to the like button. Hit that like button as soft as possible so it can activate itself, okay? Activate the like button. That's all you got to do in the name of. That's all. In the name of. You just got to activate that like button. That's all. I appreciate you. Share the content. You know what I'm saying? If you feel free to do that. So we're going to get into a situation, right? You know what I'm saying? We're going to get into this situation that, been on my mind since we getting closer to the supposedly date where Errol Spence supposed to let everybody know he's going to take the rematch and all that, right? So we've been trying to get this whole thing out and, put all the pieces of the puzzle together because it's been a jigsaw effect. You know what I'm saying? It's been embroiled in scandal, man. Smoke Session Sports and Entertainment. WCS, what it do Sunday morning. No doubt, man. What it do, man. Salute to you in the building. You already know. Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more. Salute to you on deck in the building. The OG, what's good? Mr. Golden, what's good with OG in the building? I see you. Thomas on deck, salute to you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Haynes Legacy in the building. What's good with it, Haynes? Salute, man. Hopefully all is well with you and the fam, bro. You know what I'm saying? Salute to you. I ain't see Pop in here. Where's Pop at? Let's see. Something ain't right. I mean, I don't see him in here. Let me see. And I ain't tripping either. I do not see you for some reason. Pop a lot of James. You know what I'm saying? I did not see him in my chat for some apparent reason. I seen Golden. I seen Mr. Golden say something about it. But I do not see you in either one of my chats, man. Tyrese on deck, what's good? Yo, we cooking Texas tilapia today. My bad, trout was upgraded. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, you up here coming with the trout and that premium. Come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? You got to be more careful of that. You can't be upgrading them like that. You know what I'm saying? You can't be upgrading them like that, bro. You know what I'm saying? But let's get down to it. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. Let me take care of something right quick. We're gonna get down to some evidence. You feel me? This is gonna be one of those judicial live streams that WCS put out because I need to get down to the bottom of this. And I need y'all help to help me, to assist me rather, to get down to the bottom of this. Real talk. So if you already know, right? Last year, April 2022, we had the fight of all fights, man. The grand finale of the welterweight division. It was the grand finale, y'all. Friends have been made, friends have been lost because of this fight. Once again, I say friends were made and friends was lost because of this fight. I mean, it's just the properties that come with the Serengeti of the YTC. It's just certain aspects of the game, if you're going to play around in this jungle, that you need to know how that's going to work. You have different sides. You have, this side, you have the other side. You have the in-between. The in-between is the friction that is built up between both sides. That's supposed to meet in the middle. You know what I'm saying? To figure this all out on fight night. Well, that actually happened. You know what I'm saying? After all the years and years of freaking talk and banter, you know what I'm saying? That turned into contentious, you know what I'm saying, conversations, sidebars, people losing their damn mind. Welterweight supremacy was determined. I said again, welterweight supremacy was determined. How was it determined? It was determined on July 29th when Crawford went in there and did what he's supposed to do. Now, I want to go back even further. You know what I'm saying? I want to go back even further to April 16, 2022, because that right there was a defining moment for this division and us to determine, will we even see this fight? Because for one, we had such a mix-up, man. We had the Manny Pacquiao situation. We didn't know why he was on recess. We didn't know why he was on recess. We really didn't. But we had the Manny Pacquiao situation where Ugas had to fight Manny Pacquiao, which Errol Spence was hoping to step in there with Manny, but his eye didn't fare well. So therefore, Manny had to step in there with Ugas. Ugas ended up winning the fight. Right now, Ugas is considered to be the next opponent for Errol Spence Jr. They will step in the ring April 16th. Now, heading into this, right? People were saying somewhat the same thing. Oh man, he's gonna beat Udina's Ugas up. He's gonna do this. Ugas is not going to be able to stand, because the only fight that they really had to go off of with Ugas is, for one, the more recent fight that he had with Manny Pacquiao prior to April 16, right? He won that. And then his performance value against Sean Porter. Okay? I'm just telling you what the top names are. You know what I'm saying? Just the top names, right? So when Ugas went in here and fought Errol Spence on this night, it wasn't too many people that was giving Ugas a chance. Why? Because they had heard and all the myths and legends and folklores of Errol Spence Jr. and his body attack and the way this dude was just so vicious with the pressure, dog. Ugas wouldn't be able to stand up. He wouldn't be able to withstand the barrage of violence that awaits from Errol Spence Jr. So when we finally got this fight, man, and Lawrence Cole being the third man in the ring, the fight commenced. I want to slow this down for you, right? This was the same Errol Spence that had came off Danny Garcia as the first fight back from the accident. He steps in here and fights Ugas. People were saying that same sentiment, the same chorus was up here singing the anthem, y'all. That Errol was going to go in here and dominate, obliterate, devastate, annihilate Ugas Ugas. He was going to go in there and beat this man down because he was the favorite. Why? Because this was the third fight. I'm talking about the third fight with the championship belt that was supposed to be the easy route. This was the third fight with the championship belt. This completed the third stone that he needed to leverage his momentum heading into the fight with Bud Crawford. This was the fight of all fights, y'all. He goes in there and he was taking damage early. Okay, I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm not gonna mention him searching for the mouthpiece. Okay, you know we already know he said the mouthpiece is falling out. All we're gonna let that slide because it's irrelevant right now. It's irrelevant. I want to get to the evidence. This is my opening argument. I want to get to the evidence of breaking open this investigation. It's extremely important that WCS explain to you all why I feel this is essential to the sport of boxing. So Ugas Ugas goes in here and he has success early in the round from the same mercenary that the Soto mercenary that they were saying that was going to go in here and bang him out to the body. You know what I'm saying? Ugas wouldn't be able to stand that pressure. The same thing they were saying with Crawford, right? All of a sudden, Ugas lands a good shot. The mouthpiece comes out. And it looks like, Errol Spence is buzzed a little bit into the ropes looking for his mouthpiece. He, in his own words, said he was embarrassed and he thought his teeth came out, so he went looking for him. A lapse in judgment. A lapse in judgment, right? From the mercenary. I ain't never known mercenaries to have lapse in judgment. They pretty much carry out the order. So when Lawrence Cole gave him the stop command heard all around the world, y'all. The punishment from Ugas seemed to dwindle. It seemed to go away. Seriously. To go away. It seemed to evaporate. Errol Spence began to lay it on. To start to lay the onslaught of beating Ugas Ugas up. So I want to show you something outside of what I put on the thumbnail. I want to show you the ultimate damage that was inflicted from Errol Spence Jr. Now, you're saying to yourself, we all understand what happened. They said this man, I was bleeding for 40 days and 40 nights. Noah was building 2 and 3 arcs during that time. You feel me? It was different. He was corralling these animals in tubes to move them to a different climate because the world was at his the world was on his knees looking at this fight. Ugas' eye was in devastating aesthetics, broken down, swollen, bruised, beaten. This was at the hands of Errol Spence Jr., y'all. This was at the hands of Errol Spence Jr. who did this to Ugas. When I think about how his fans was talking about this fight with Ugas, I always go back to everything that they were saying leading up to the Crawford fight. You know what I'm saying? Not only that, right? That they was bragging. They didn't give a damn about Ugas defecting from Cuba. You know what I'm saying? 6 times and captured. They was bragging about Errol Spence being the eye collector. Look at Ugas, man. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet in boxing. This man right here, eye could have been damaged. And he may not have been able to return back to the sport to make a living. But the way the Spence aholics, the aerosexuals went about making light of the punishment this man received. All I heard on the YTC was how the beating commenced, how it played out, who was the winner. Ooh, look at that eye. Oh my God, this guy is the best. Oh my God. Oh man, Crawford can't. He's not going to be able to stand that pain. Look at Ugas. He's not going to be able to stand that. Look at Ugas' eye. Look at it. Ugas' eye is closed shut. Now it gets interesting, y'all. Your Honor, I just like present my second set of evidence. My second set of evidence to this fight that occurred April 16, 2022 is this. We all know the beating took place, but following the announcement that Errol Spence has stopped Ugas via TKO, the same acronym that Crawford was criticized for, because Ugas wanted to carry on. He wanted to continue the fight and they stopped it, right? So in the aftermath, when they announced the fight, I did not. I remember being online. I was combing through the YTC rhetoric. I was deciphering, and what I needed and what I wanted to put in the recycle bin, and I didn't hear anything about loaded gloves. That's one red flag for a beating that he didn't put on Danny Garcia. Another fighter, the first fighter that he fought that wasn't a tune-up off his accident, his eye didn't swell up like this. He had bruises. He's a light-skinned dude. He's a light-skinned. You know what I'm saying? He's going to get bruised. But Ugas, we're not really talking about the bruises on him. We're talking about how that eye looks. So we didn't hear anything about loaded gloves. We didn't hear anything about performance-enhancing drugs. Loaded gloves, performance-enhancing drugs. They kind of rhyme together, right? So we didn't hear nothing about those two. Okay? We also didn't hear anything about weight drain because Ugas was older. Hold on for a second. Ugas was older than Bud Crawford. If I'm not mistaken, when Ugas stepped in the ring, he's older than Bud. He's definitely older than Errol. So you take an older fighter. No one mentioned whether Ugas may have been weight drained from being in the division as long as he has. No one mentioned those. Loaded gloves, performance-enhancing drugs, and weight drain. This man is older than most fighters, but no one mentioned anything about him potentially being weight drained. All the sentiments that has been echoed in the Crawford-Spence fight. This is why I call for an immediate investigation. Listen to me on this, right? Errol Spence and his fans did not echo these sentiments when this played out in the ring with Ugas being beat up the way he were. Ugas' eye was fucked up. I did not hear loaded gloves. I did not hear performance-enhancing drugs. And I did not hear anything about weight drain, being that Ugas is an older fighter. Ugas, older fighter, been in the weight division for a while. Could he have had some type of weight issues cutting down for this fight for him to take a beating like this? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But I'm curious to know why Errol Spence wasn't tested for loaded gloves and performance-enhancing drugs, because he had not performed this type of result with Danny Garcia. You know what I'm saying? Why wasn't the aerosexuals asking these questions about loaded gloves, looking at the damage, assessing the damage that Ugas' eye has, and performance enhancing drugs. Shouldn't that be a valid question of concern, looking at the damage he inflicted on Ugas? Not only that, we're talking about weight drain. For Ugas to take this sort of damage outside of the success he was having early in the fight, was he weight drained? I don't know. It's too late for that. That was last year. I'm just saying, he's an older fighter. Was he weight drained? This was everything that people was talking about. You know what I'm saying? People wasn't talking about in fourth. I didn't even mention the fourth about the layoff. They didn't mention anything about the long layoff that Errol Spence had leading up to the Ugas fight. Am I right or wrong, y'all? Right or wrong? Am I right or wrong? Help me out. Am I right or wrong? Did they mention the long layoff that Errol Spence had leading up to the fight with Ugas, which happened to be one of the longest? That's why you heard Errol Spence say leading up to the Spence fight that I'm not worried about no layoff. I've been longer. I've been out the ring longer than this. I'm not worried about no layoff. I've been out the ring longer than this. Did they mention anything about a layoff? I need some answers here. I need some mother effing answers on the Sunday. Loaded gloves, performance enhancing drugs. You know what I'm saying? Weight drain, layoff, weight drain, performance enhancing drugs, loaded gloves. Those are 4 points of concern for me when it comes to the Ugas fight. Those are 4 points of concern for me because this man was beat up brutally. And this is without any fight comparison that we can look back and say, I compare that to this fight right here. He did that right here. He didn't even do this to Lamont Peterson. He didn't do it to Lamont Peterson. Lamont Peterson was down in the fight. When was Ugas ever down? When was Danny Garcia ever down? When was Mikey Garcia ever down? So therefore, when I hear these accusations levied against Crawford when he fought Spence, I want to go back and ask those commissioners that don't have anything else to do in their life, that may not be actively employed at the time, right? I want to ask you, can you conduct an investigation on how Spence was able to go up here and beat Ugas up the way he did without actually digging deeper into the performance enhancing drug situation, the loaded glove situation, all the points of evidence that was levied against Terrence Bud Crawford when he went in there and defeated Errol Spence? Now, if y'all don't know, right, Yordenis Ugas has a fight coming up against Mario Barrios September 30th, 2023. That is just outside the front porch of September. Okay? This is coming up very fast. He's stepping in there with Mario Barrios. 27-2, Mario Barrios. Yordenis Ugas, 27-5. His last loss came at the hands of Errol Spence, April 16, 2022. Now, I want to show you another piece of evidence leading up to this fight, September 30th. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm kind of feeling myself. I'm seeing like I'm getting back in the groove a little bit. I don't know. I'm not out the water yet. I'm seeing like I'm getting back in my groove a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But look at this right here now. This man had to be cleared. I'm talking about thoroughly cleared. I know it's been past a year, right? But this man, Yordenis Ugas, former world champion, had to go in there and get cleared. He had to go get cleared, y'all. Yes, indeed. He had to go through all these tests to clear him for the Mario Barrios fight because this man was suspended. He had to have his eye healed and he had to get that damn checkup prior to stepping in the ring with Mario Barrios. This is incredible. This is absolutely phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? I like that Ugas was able to recover and to fight another day because this man is fighting for a different purpose. You know what I'm saying? But his eye is okay. And to be his age, he's older than Bud. He looks in great shape right now. You know what I'm saying? He looks in great shape. Not to mention, this man had to go through eye test. He had to go to the optometrist. Look, he had to go through eye tests from that beating that Spence put on him. But yet, loaded gloves, performance enhancing drugs, weight drain. Come on now. Hiatus, being out of the ring. You correlate, consolidate all this together. Those are points of concern with me. Why they weren't used in the Ugas fight, April 16, 2022. How in the hell are you going to tell me that it's a good damn reason as to why they wasn't used? Why there wasn't no loaded gloves? Why there wasn't performance enhancing drugs being used in this for Errol Spence? Why didn't y'all say he had loaded gloves? Because y'all say you never seen Crawford beat somebody up like that. Well, hell, I never seen Errol Spence beat somebody up like he did Ugas. I never seen him swell somebody's eye up like that after an accident. 33 years of age. I never seen that shit happen. Of course, he was 32 years of age when he fought Ugas. I'm talking about what he supposed had to done to Crawford. I never seen it, y'all. So that's what brings me to this right here. Looking at this picture, as far as the immediate investigation, because I feel it's imperative that we get down to the bottom of this. Because we're about to head into a rematch. Ugas is just cleared to fight Mario Barrios September 30th, right? So therefore, he's cleared to compete once again after this brutal beating. I love it. But this thumbnail to me it tells its own story, because here you have, listen, here you have to the right, as you're looking at your phone or your screen, you have Terrence Bud Crawford, the current reigning undisputed welterweight world champion. You have him on this thumbnail, and you ask yourself why? Because him and Ugas, they haven't fought in the professional ranks. I will explain to you why Bud Crawford is on this thumbnail, why he's a part of the investigation. It's extremely important that you understand the direction where I'm going with this, because as I've mentioned to you, Errol Spence was the delegator. He was the executioner and punishing Ugas and putting this on his face like that, swelling up his eye, damaging his eye like that. He was. But Crawford, this is where it gets interesting, y'all. I have said this time and time again this morning. I am absolutely bewildered that an investigation did not take place following the fight of April 16th, 2022. Because this was something like we've ever seen before from Errol Spence. So when July 29th rolled around, we started to hear all the same sentiments. We heard the same anthem, that punishment, that the eye collector, the rib collector, he was going to inflict on Bud Crawford. It was the same people, the same aerosexuals carrying out this anthem. They were singing. I swear to God, they were singing. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no church anthem. They were singing, y'all. They were singing that the eye catcher and the rib collector was going to be executing the same type of punishment come July 29th of 2023. They said that Crawford was going to experience a fighter that he's been avoiding They said Crawford, who has fought undeveloped as a fighter, has fought low tier opposition, would go in here and reap the same consequences and repercussions as Ugas Ugas did. They did, y'all. They said it. They said this man have not fought anybody the caliber of Errol Spence, and that Errol Spence will demolish everybody on Crawford's record. So since Crawford never fought any higher tier opposition, how was he to be prepared for a boxer like Errol Spence Jr., who inflicted damage on Ugas the way he did? How can Crawford be prepared for this? How can he be prepared? So let's go to the point of reference that the investigation needs to take place immediately. Let's go to the proper submission of evidence. When Crawford went in there on that fateful night with donning black and gray battle garb, being that the sentiments leading up and the mantra was he's the big fish, he being Errol Spence, right? So Crawford came to the ring with fishnets on to let the people know. And shout out to Steven Nelson, the creative designer, right? He came in there with fishnets on, letting people know I'm here to fish, to supposedly catch this big fish. He had nets on his trunks, and he had nets on his shoes. Very, very crafty, creative, slick design. You know, because Crawford was in there to go fishing. At that point in time, Crawford was 39 victories into the game, shawty. Yes, sir. Errol Spence was 28 victories in. So both of these guys was on the pound for pound list. Won't be denied. They was right next to each other, shoulder to shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Shoulder to shoulder on the ring now. So therefore, they was on the pound for pound list for quite some time. And we can never forget what the aerosexual was saying what was going to happen to Crawford. Now, looking at this point of evidence, this is the third piece of evidence that I'm presenting, right? As you look at the three circles, why three? Because, you know, they're such relevant areas that I can speak on in my deliberation. And I chose to present them to you so you yourself can come up with your own information too. So this is Spence following the fight. And aerosexual, oh my God, he said it was Spence. See, that's where, Your Honor, this is where I have to present this evidence. Terrence Crawford did not fight or inflict that type of damage on Ugas. But Terrence Crawford is accused of inflicting this damage on the same guy who inflicted that damage on Ugas Ugas, that guy being Errol Spence Jr. But Crawford beat up the guy who beat up the guy. But yet, aerosexuals, whoever else, the pundits, was not crying foul. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't an outcry. It wasn't no sense of chaos when he did it to Ugas. It was a sense of them reveling in the streets, laughing, rejoicing, and saying, "Oh my God, he beat his ass. Damn, he fucked him up." But then on July 29th, what we seen play out in front of us was magical. It was magical, y'all. Let me tell you, that shit was magical. When you're talking about, you know, the best, you know, in there with the best, right? In the welterweight division. A fight that we've been waiting on for years. We seen Crawford go in there and distribute a pure bona fide ass whooping. This is results of that ass whooping, just like I showed you with Ugas. Now let's get to circle number one. Let's entertain this, right? Because when Crawford went in there and inflicted this type of damage on his opponent, they said that wasn't Spence. That wasn't a Spence, I know. But yet, it was the Spence that beat up Ugas. It was the same Spence. Derrick James ain't training no clown. I mean clone. Excuse me. He ain't training no clone. So Diddy, he needs to know who's in the band. And he definitely knew he was training Spence. Okay, let's get that out the way. And then Spence had some telltale signs that was actually him. You can just look at him and tell that was the same Spence. He talked the same several fights before this. That was Spence. All right. So let's look at this. Crawford beat up the guy who beat up the guy, but in his performance value, it was somewhat tarnished because of the black extremists. The black extremists didn't agree with what they was witnessing in front of them, first of all, in front of the world. And they have not accepted to this day that Terrence Crawford has inflicted this damage on his adversary, which is Errol Spence Jr., in the night in question, July 29th. They are extremely upset about that. So what they do, they start talking about the man was in performance enhancing drugs. Sound familiar? I was asking why that didn't come up when Ugas was getting his ass beat. But when Crawford did it to Spence, oh my God, he's under the influence of the snack nutrition. They're trying to say this man had an advantage, something that is legally approved, right? Not on the banned substance list. And not to mention, y'all, we have seen fighters pop dirty recently. And I'm asking myself, why hasn't Bud Crawford popped dirty yet? Seriously, I'm wondering, why hasn't he popped dirty if by chance he's a part of some performance enhancing drug organization, right? Right? Then we talk about the loaded gloves. Harvey Dock has been on record as saying that what his scope of authority is not to be a doctor, because people were insinuating that Spence didn't look right. That wasn't the Spence they know. They was acting like a dude came in there and put on a Halloween costume. I'm going to be EJ for this Halloween. And boy, was it a massacre up in the T-Mobile Arena. I was saying, whoever that is in that costume is getting their ass beat. They're going to think twice about coming up in here trying to wear a costume and goddamn take the place of EJ on this night. I was saying that shit to myself. God damn it. Somebody stop the fight. We have an innocent bystander that just wanted to be important, getting his ass beat. So back to the evidence. That scar was the same scar Spence has had since the car accident, right? The same one. It's evidence the lay claim that this was indeed the real Errol Spence. He fought like the real Errol Spence. He moved like the real Errol Spence, and he sounded like the real Errol Spence. And the height and the body structure was the same Errol Spence I seen in Beverly Hills when they had their first presser for the July 29th melee. Same guy. See, I can speak on this because I was actually present. Just like a lot of aerosexuals were present in New York, but they refused to acknowledge that was the real Errol Spence in there. They just wanted to flow around downstream with no oars and fall over the waterfall. Just go over the waterfall with the narratives, right? So you look at circle one, that is the scar. That has become a stamp on Errol Spence from following his accident. And thank God he did survive, no doubt about it. Thank God. Thank Holy Jesus that he's able to see his family. Number two is what you're looking at, somewhat similar to Yadina's Ugas. Ugas' eye, much more swollen, much more inflicted damage. Ugas went into the 10th round, and Errol Spence went into the 9th. Ugas went into that fight with 4 losses already. Spence went in there with 0. I'm saying to myself, Your Honor, something's fishy here, because Errol Spence was on the pound-for-pound list, right? And Ugas wasn't. But he did hold the belt when he fought Errol Spence. So how in the hell can we overlook some of the concerns. How can we overlook some of the concerns, man? How did Ugas go that long with a guy who was supposed to be the eye collector? You know what I'm saying? The rib collector. How did Ugas go into the 10th round with this mercenary from Texas? And then when you take that same mercenary and you put him in there next to Crawford, this guy right here, that's looking at Ugas. You're probably saying to yourself, why did I put, Bud looking at Ugas? Because Bud is not getting the same credit that Errol Spence is getting for doing this to Ugas. Bud is looking at this like, I did it to the guy who did it to you. So what does that say about me? But the problem that I have is they're trying to come up with all these claims that I was a dirty fighter and I was cheating. I had loaded gloves. But when Errol Spence was doing that to you, Ugas, they didn't say anything about that. They was like, he beat him up. Oh my God, he destroyed him. Back to this. Bud Crawford inflicted extreme damage over the period of 8.5 rounds on July 29th via, some people say via, some people say via. I'm going to go with the second, via the T-Mobile massacre. Bud Crawford is responsible for this picture right here. And the reason why it's so important, people, is that he swelled up both of Errol Spence's eyes. The puffiness and redness, swelling, and the damage that you see in front of you. This is to the jury. Please pay attention, jury, and wake that juror up over there. I'm submitting my evidence. Wake him up. Eye number 2 and eye number 3. The damage inflicted on those areas was from the same fighter, Terrence Bud Crawford. See, the eye collector swelled up the right eye of Ugas. And people was just running through the streets amok. But in Vegas, Crawford swelled up the entire facial structure of Errol Spence Jr. Look how red, look how swollen and soft and puffy it looks. It reminds you of a texture of a juicy strawberry, huh? Prior to dipping it in chocolate. I'm saying to myself, this is amazing that Crawford, who is a switch hitter, but did not switch stances in this fight, but still was able to switch eyes and damage them both. What type of individual are we dealing with? This guy is insane. This is a vicious type of fighter. How dare he come in here and swell up Errol Spence's, both of his eyes, not just one. When he's looking at Ugas in the thumbnail, he's saying, damn, he did fuck that right eye up, but I fucked both of his up. I fucked up the whole front of his mask. You know what I'm saying? Bud Crawford fucked up the whole front side of his mask, his facial mask, y'all. How does that happen when you don't switch hit? You go in there southpaw, you make a last minute decision to go into the ring and fight and start off southpaw just to prove to the people that say you start off slow and you got to start off in this stance and all that. He was in ground. That's what Bud Crawford's mentality was. It was the proving grounds. And he went up there and he swelled up this man's facial structure, his mask, y'all. Both of his freaking eyes. What type of individual is this? That's why I say this shit needs to be investigated. How in the hell, when it comes down to the physical mechanics, the boxing IQ, the offensive strategy, y'all, how can he go in here and induce swelling on both of Errol Spence's eyes and not be praised for that, like Errol Spence was praised for Ugas. How can Bud Crawford not be considered the eye collector himself? Because one is less than two. Two is more than one. One less than two, two more than one. Right? So he swelled up one of Ugas' eyes, but Bud swelled up both of them to include his nose. But no, the plot thickens, y'all. Instead of them giving Bud Crawford that respect that he went in there and fought a tremendous, incredible fight, they try to say the man was cheating. They try to say the man was, under the influence of performance-enhancing drugs that gave him an edge. He didn't get the parade outside of Omaha, Nebraska. I'm talking about the parade of the naysayers coming to their realization that he beat EJ's ass. You know what I'm saying? He beat him up. I didn't see the parade immediately following the post-fight. Vegas should have been in the streets with aerosexuals jumping up and down to my, please forgive us, Lord Almighty. Please, we know we're in a human environment and it feels like hell. We're not trying to see the devil. We have committed so many sins leading up to this fight, but Bud Crawford has shown us the light. He has shown us the light, you Holy Spirit. The beating that he put on this man, we repent, Father God. We repent this day. We repent. How is Bud Crawford not given the same amount of praise that Errol Spence was given when he beat up Ugas? Terrence Crawford beat up Errol Spence, who beat up Ugas. But yet, the soft, coward-ass aerosexuals want to run with a narrative that this man is under performance-enhancing drugs with loaded gloves. How is that possible looking at the evidence? He swelled up both of this man's eyes. So you're trying to tell me a snack, nutritional product, a supplement provides you with data to go in there and inflict damage on a fighter? It enhances your technical know-how to place your punches, when to punch, where to place your punches, how many punches to be thrown, the seconds in between exchanges, where to be in the ring at the right time. It seems like some Neuralink type shit, huh? That ain't performance enhancing drugs. That seems like some Neuralink shit. That's the only thing I didn't check about Bud. Now, I was trying to look in this fro. I was trying to look on the back of his neck. I was looking for a Neuralink to be lit up, you know what I'm saying, throughout the fight, so I could say, you know what, that's what it is right there. Look at that. Look at that right there. I found it. The Neuralink is right there. How can he go in here and perform like this? They're downloading data. Now they need to find the little teenager in here with the computer. That's all they had to do. And the T-Mobile ring, they just had to find that teenager with the computer sitting up at the top, programming all this data. That's how they do it, right? Because they didn't want to give Crawford any freaking credit for the damage that he inflicted on Spence. Look at that damage, y'all. That is indeed, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, that is indeed the real Errol Spence. And this photo, this is a picture taken not from my lens as I would have liked to, but this is just a frame that I took from watching the fight. And I pointed out these little subtleties, right? That Crawford was able to go in there and land his glove in these particular areas. From landing his gloves in a redundant fashion, it induced swelling around the left and right orbital structure. Okay? I want to clear up any type of compunction that may be going on within the YTC. I just want to clear it up. I want to just make it clean enough for you to when you visit these type of topics out here. I want you to be able to speak on them with integrity, honor, courage. I don't want you going up here being a scumbag. We have enough of those in life. We don't need one more to sit up here and lie. Be one with yourself. Crawford is no way that Errol Spence can beat up Ugas. And you all saying what you're saying about Crawford without an investigation taking place. We need an investigation because how can Crawford go up here and beat up the man who beat up the man? But for Crawford, you don't want to provide him with the common courtesy of doing the exact same thing, but even more from what Errol Spence did to Eudenis Ugas. You know, at some areas, at certain times in your life, that pusillanimous is not the route you want to take. It is absolutely not efficacious to anything we have going on here when it comes to boxing topics. It is not. It is not conducive, productive, anything you want to talk about. That is why it is essential, if you all going to continue to run with this narrative, that Bud Crawford, you know, had loaded gloves. He had freaking, defective gloves. He somehow brought back the Gabriel Maestre situation with Michael Fox. Whoever wrapped his gloves, because look, they had a problem with Bud Crawford wrapping his own hands. He's been wrapping his own hands for the longest of time now, right? Right? So they had a problem with him wrapping his own hands. Or maybe he slid up a piece of titanium up under there. I mean, it was somebody there, a supervisor there to watch him wrap his hands, y'all. Even when Jim Gray came back there and he was speaking to him, Crawford was still wrapping his hands while Jim Gray was asking him questions. Who does that shit? Immediate investigation on this guy Crawford, man. How can he be so freaking talented to go in there and beat up a guy who they was praising for inflicting that damage and go in here and inflict that damage and then some on a guy who they was praising as being this pressure fighter, this domineering type of expert, this professional expert at going to the body. You know what I'm saying? Going to the body, breaking his opponents down. Unbelievable wild dog on the hunt, y'all. Unfreaking believable wild dog on the hunt. That's what they call Spence, y'all. He was a wild dog on the hunt. This man was relentless with his pressure with everybody else besides Bud Crawford, goddammit. When he went in there with Bud, he became the hunted. Your Honor, I'm near to rest my case on this because I think the jury totally understands where I'm at with this. You have to do your due diligence. Filter out the bullshit. Continue to build upon your character. If you are respected amongst your peers, continue to grow. Don't let the YTC have your peers questioning that you have chosen a lower standard rather than continue to grow and reach higher levels. You know what I'm saying? That is the ultimate goal, isn't it? But people tend to say, no, that's not the case on the YTC. I want to be the lowest scoundrel possible. You know what I'm saying? That's all. I want to be a scoundrel on here. I want to come up with excuses. I want to act like I'm so important with boxing. These are the aerosexuals. I want to act like I'm so motivated. I'm passionate about boxing. But then you take one of the biggest fights that we've been talking about for years, and it finally presents itself. And you just dilute it. You dilute it with bullshit. You attempt to tarnish this man's reputation by being a cheater, y'all. A cheater. Now, we've had cheaters in the past, And people always look at them as a cheater. Some of these cheaters has been the highest level, y'all. We've seen these cheaters become pariahs. We've seen them being ostracized. They tried to do the same thing to Bud Crawford for no reason, and the man is freaking innocent of all wrongdoing. Your Honor, I like to say this: the only thing this man is guilty of is basically delegating an ass whooping that played out in front of millions, Your Honor. Now, is he wrong for that, Your Honor? Is he wrong? I don't need for you to answer that, Your Honor. It's a rhetorical question. I just want to know, is he wrong for carrying out a legal act of violence, Your Honor? He cannot be charged with any type of wrongdoing in this case. It was an assault carried out per the contract. It was all formatted in a legal binding agreement in the sport that we call boxing, Your Honor. So I ask that you hand down a sentence to these aerosexuals. I'm talking about making an example out of every last one of them that is up here claiming all of this information to be true without any other bias. You need to hand down the stiffest sentence possible there, Your Honor. You know what I'm saying? So they can never do this to any other fighter again. For real. This is not needed in the community of boxing. If someone goes in there and performs at a high level and beat a fighter that was supposed to be on the same level, but yet the fighter who won makes that fighter seem like he was never on that level to begin with, that fighter who won should not be ridiculed. Their win should not be tarnished. They should be exhausted. They should be exalted in front of their fans. They should be celebrated as they sit in the pantheon of boxing, because they are on the throne of greatness. And on that night, July 29th, only one of those fighters who was already there was able to once again establish himself as one of the greatest of this era. Now, unfortunately for the aerosexuals, that was not Errol Spence. This leads me to my next part, transitioning to the rematch. If you're going to support this fighter heading into the rematch, I just want to ask you some things, right? I just have some questions to ask you. Are you willing to go into this rematch knowing that EJ was defeated on July 29th, 2023? Are you willing? Are you willing to let that just go and accept the fact that he was defeated on July 29th? Are you absolutely of sound mind and body willing to accept that it's a high possibility that he's going to lose again in a rematch? Are you willing to accept that? Third of all, if Errol Spence is cleared, just like Yordenis Ugas, if he was cleared medically, when Errol Spence takes this second ass whooping, will you not, after the fight, go back on the YTC and start whining and complaining that wasn't him? Are you willing to let it go? __, air quotes, parentheses. Are you willing to let it go? Because you have to let it go. Free yourself. You have to let it go. Are you willing not to say that this man was still suffering from the weight cut of 47 back in July? Are you willing to say, right, that 54 was a higher weight class? He had less weight to cut, which pretty much combines into the dehydration thing that y'all was trying to say, right? So them two being somewhat similar, you know what I'm saying, neighbors. Are you willing to apply that Spence is incapable of defeating Terrence Crawford in this era. And maybe there's a high possibility in reincarnation that these two can revisit in a different life form. I don't know if they'll be humans or not. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if they're gonna be humans or not, but they may be able to fight one another in the foreseeable future in a different life form. Okay, are you willing to accept that? Are you willing to understand that you cannot say that Terrence Crawford was cheating and had loaded, underperformance enhancing drugs and had loaded gloves, and he goes in here and defeats Errol Spence the second time, and you come out and say, oh, he's still suffering residual effects from not just a car accident, from Terrence Crawford cheating July 29th. You cannot do that to yourself. You understand me? You cannot do that. That is wrong. You do know that if indeed you try to bring up all these variables, these negative variables, you know what I'm saying, these ominous variables that you want to go with, excuses upon excuses and excuses, that you will continue to be looked upon like the scumbags you are. So it's best that you just start cleaning up, letting it go, and move on with your life. That's all you have to do. You don't have to go through the extreme and try to make up these storylines and say that, yo, you know, Crawford, he had this going on, he had that. It wasn't a fair fight. Yes, that is what you call a fair one. You understand? That was a fair one, aerosexuals. That shit was a MFing fair one. He defeated Spence. That was a Spence. Look, you cannot let one man have that much power over you. Don't let somebody from Omaha that's been doing this a long time. I'm talking about stopping all his opponents in the welterweight. Don't let him have this much control over you from one single fight as if it's all brand new. See, the TKOs, they didn't rip them motherfuckers out the plastic. They was out there. You know what I'm saying? Them TKOs was out there on display. He didn't rip them motherfuckers out the plastic like they was brand new. They was already up there chilling. So the TKO he got with Errol Spence was just another one that was gonna put up on the mantle, you know, on the mantle with his credentials. He didn't break those out the plastic. Those shit was already known and accounted for. All he was doing was counting the one on July 29th as another one. Another one. Another one. Another one. Another one. Another one. You get the picture? That's all that was going on. Real talk. That was just all that was going on, man. I talk about this a lot. You know, some of you do have health care or something. I would suggest you go find a therapist that's qualified to basically give you some information, some documentation on positive and negative reinforcements. You know what I'm saying? You need that shit because when this rematch come around, the Crawford supporters, we don't have time to be dealing with this bullshit ass resistance that y'all putting up with this failed insurgency, right? And not only that, we do know, we have gotten intel that there are some aerosexuals who have basically what? Defected from the aerosexual who defected from supporting Spence over to the confines of the Crawford supporters. We will weed you off and we will take you back to whence you came. Period. That's just the only way we can do it because there's no room for defectors. I know that a lot of you all had to be shown based off the visual. And I know the visual that you receive, you saying to yourself, like, God damn, if there's any way that I would have been taught, I wouldn't want to have been taught like this. This is goddamn brutal. I say the same thing But I totally get it. You know, when I was watching the fight and when the Aerosex was watching the fight, it was a different type of vibe and energy going on. You know what I'm saying? I had a smile on my face and your smile was turned upside down. I get it. I do. I get it. I totally understand. It'll be with you for a long period of time. I get it. I do. I do. And I'm not doing this live to assist with any type of recovery period for the Aerosexuals. I just had to present my evidence in front of the court of freaking boxing so that we can stop this nonsense. You know what I'm saying? We need to stop this ASAP. Because if the rematch is going to happen, you have to understand that he's going to go through a medical clearance, right? He's going to, if he's able to fight this rematch, he's going to get medically cleared. And you all have to live with that. He's medically cleared. So the ass whooping and the beatdown that will commence in December, if indeed it takes place, do us one better. Like I mentioned earlier, please don't mention old shit. Look at this ass whooping as a reminder of how good Bud Crawford truly is in this era. And at the end of the day, it was nothing that Diddy James and Errol Spence Jr. could do to top that. You have to live with it. You have to live with it. You have fighters who are great fighters. And then you have fighters who are greater fighters. It's just the way it is in life. We're not cloning these humans. This is humans that was produced naturally. And then they have to go off their raw ability and take that raw ability and have someone remediate and train them to be advanced, to be able to compete on an advanced level. That's all that we're talking about. But when you see it actually plays out, you see Crawford advanced level. Don't act like it's never existed in boxing. You say y'all hardcore boxing fans, right? But yet in this era, we have the social media genre of boxing fans. Now, I don't like to say casual for all of them because it's just impossible to call everybody a casual. I will have to include myself in that. So you take the large percentage of casuals, right? They don't know how to process what they're watching. To them, it's all about who I like the best. And look, you can like a fighter the best, but when your best fighter doesn't go in there and perform to his best because he's in there with the fighter that's better than he or she, you have to accept that shit. And then you have to come back on here and say, you know what? I was going for so-and-so and it didn't work out. Not go on here and create and pretend that something else contributed to that fighter, your favorite fighter, losing. That's bullshit. That's coward ass. That's a coward way out. Seriously, that's a coward way out at the end of the day. You feel me? That is the cowardice way out. So when he get cleared for medicals and him and Crawford returns back, knowing that Crawford is a reigning defending, active, reigning and defending, undisputed welterweight world champion. He has all the belts. It's no leveraging shit. I know y'all mad about the coin flip. I know y'all mad about negotiations. Listen, what you should be mad about is the lack of preparation that Diddy James did not implement prior to that fight, July 29th, for Spence to go in there and be a lot more competitive than what he was. That's what you should be mad about. Get out these motherfuckers' pockets. You're not at negotiation table, nor were you on the phone line like that bullshit they try to pull a BLK Prime. You got people on freaking third and three-way listening in. That shit wasn't gonna work. That shit wasn't gonna work. You're not at the table talks. You're not on the phone lines. Don't worry about how much they're negotiating. Y'all up here mad and bitter about a coin flip. About Errol Spence happening to concede. But you're not saying who he hired to do his negotiating for him so he can get the high guaranteed dollar. But you'll keep acting like, oh, it was all up to Errol. It ain't never all up to Errol. He didn't do all that. If it was all up to him, he wouldn't have basically implemented Adrian Clark into the equation. That's extremely important at the end of the day that you recognize that shit, right? Okay, then. Let me get over here to the chat, man. And once again, man, on this Sunday, appreciate everyone who pulled up. And of course, I will not be able to get to every one of these comments, but once again, salute palm down to the hottest MF and chat in the game on Sunday, A-Side Official. Hey, we don't give a damn what you think about our concessions. We're receiving all the concessions. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? We the A-Side Official. We're not worried about all that shit. Shout out to Tyrese on deck, man. Samad on deck. Grand Rising Beloved. Salute WCS. Certified. Stamp the like button and support the grind. No doubt. I appreciate you, brother. I think Ugas beat Barrios. Hey, man, if the Ugas comes out, you know what I'm saying? We know him to be the Ugas that fought Sean Porter. I'm looking at him defeating Mario Barrios. It's a pretty even matchup, in my opinion. Hold on for a second, y'all. Bud Crawford, the belt collector. Talk to him, Carlos. You know what I'm saying? Hey, they talk about the eye collector. What means more? The eye collector or the belt collector? Yeah, okay. There we go. You know what I'm saying? There we go. Has females mentality, they go off emotion and impulse. It's not just them. It's not just them. All them, you know, the aerosexuals is not associated with that acronym. They don't fall beneath the umbrella of the LDBC. It's some aerosexuals out here that they may sit up here and go with that narrative, like a lot of LDBC members. But goddamn it, hey, when they all goddamn walk into the fire at the same time, all of them getting burned. They can go at the same time, all of them getting burned, dog. Shout out to DS111, man. What's good with it? Terrence Belt Crawford. You better know it. Go and say Ugas' old lady drug him before the fight. That's why he stopped fighting after the 6th round. The drugs kicked in. Hey, that's what it was. Damn. But hey, Mr. Golden, I bet Ugas didn't go in there and fire his girl. You know what I'm saying? I bet he didn't fire her. Shit. Woo woo. Woo woo. I bet he didn't fire her. Shit, he said, baby, it'll be okay. You know, they about to wear off. That money hit the account. Yeah, check the account balance. You got to check the account balance, goddammit. We going on vacation. Check the account balance. Shout out to TB Boxing. He said, this is hilarious. I thought I was bad, but you are really committed. Keep up the good work, bro. I appreciate you, bro. Shout out to TB Boxing, man. Salute to you. Oh, I known you from the Facebook days, dog. I know how bad you are. I known you since the Facebook days, dog. Relentless. So they laugh at Ugas and say Errol was an eye collector. You know what I'm saying? They gave him all the props in the world, Samuel. Shout out to Samuel on deck, man. They gave him all the props in the world for being the eye collector, bro. So why can't you do it for Crawford? Why can't you consider him the face collector? You know what I'm saying? Give him something, collector. You put all this freaking mystery, this horror mystery shit on Spence being the boogeyman and all this other shit. But yet, when the real boogeyman shows up and he goes on a spree, oh no. See how Jason was able to do it. That knife he had, that knife wasn't real. Freddie was never in nobody's dreams. That was just special effects. So if Freddie and Jason and that shit wasn't real, how can Crawford come in here and damn near slaughter this guy? How? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, bro. Plus, I disagree with you, fam. I think Barry is gonna win. Okay, we got some difference of opinions in the chat. That's what I'm talking about. That's boxing shit. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't because of Bud being on snack. It was that Bomac was on snacks, which caused Arrows to lose. Man, hey, man, people always worry about Bomac, but they worrying about the wrong facet of Bomac. Bomac said, I eat knowledge. That's what Bomac said. I eat knowledge. You know what I'm saying? I eat knowledge. And he showed with the in between rounds, the advice that he was giving them, man, that shit was on point. The instructions he was delegating in between rounds, it was on point, man. Paulie, what's good? He said, by the way, if you watch any of their channels, the next target is going to be Shakur Stevenson. They're already making up BS narratives about him. But see, the one thing about Shakur Stevenson, all the shit they saying about Shakur Stevenson is not going to matter. Believe me, it's not going to matter. The reason being is that Shakur does have Puerto Rican in his blood. So therefore, he does have the black fan base and the Puerto Rican fan base. I don't know how large this Puerto Rican fan base considering how they treat Puerto Ricans. You know, the large mass of how they treat the Puerto Ricans when they step into the ring. The full Puerto Ricans. And really, you can't say what's a full Puerto Rican, what's not a full Puerto Rican. You know, I mean, just based off them speaking Spanish is not enough. We'll talk. And I'm serious. We need somebody to look into this. We need somebody to look into this. They say that wasn't the real Errol Spence. So you trying to tell me Crawford fought somebody who was an impersonator, an imposter? That's who you fought. That even basically enhanced what I'm saying anyway. We need investigation to this matter. Dating all the way back to April 16th to the July 29th and heading to this rematch. We need to kind of put all this together. Was that the real Errol Spence in there? Did Crawford beat up a YMCA fighter, a fighter from Cuba that no one's heard of, dressed up in an EJ costume? Did he beat up a guy who they was planning on bringing up through the ranks of the 147-pound division if he indeed beat Crawford that night? Was they basically on an entire top secret program to bring up the welterweight Andy Cruz out of Cuba? You know what I'm saying? And I look, and are we sure that the real Eric Spence still exists? If you know, we have to ignore all of that shit because it's garbage, and say that Bud went in there and beat up the real Errol Spence. His face shows it. He has the scar from the accident, and both his eyes are swelled up. Who did that? Who does that to a fighter without switching stances? Who does that shit? A damn good fighter, I'll tell you that. That's a damn good mofo right there. To basically collect his face mask. He collected an entire face mask. How selfish of Bud, first of all. Don't he have enough accolades? How selfish of him, man. I swear to God. This dude is selfish. He could have very well just worked off the jab, stayed on the outside. You know what I'm saying? Use his lateral movement. 1-1. You know what I'm saying? 1-1. Really don't engage with the two unless it's necessary. Last resort. That's all he could have did, but he's so selfish, man. He had to collect the whole facial structure. Oh, my God, man. I mean, 4 belts wasn't enough. He collected Spence both of his eyes, his nose, and entire frontal facial mask of Errol Spence. Nobody wasn't talking about no residual neurological damage when Ugas was up here looking like this. I didn't hear anything about no residual neurological damage. Did y'all? All I heard was praise, jubilee. That's all I heard. I didn't hear none of this somberness. Oh my God. People, we come here today for this memorial service. I didn't hear none of that shit. I didn't hear any type of remorse. You know what I'm saying? It was certain individuals who were moist. I didn't hear any remorse. You know what I'm saying? I heard them rebelling and praising the damage that was inflicted on Ugas. That's what I heard. But when this showed up, those same people that were cheering and clapping their hands over and over again uncontrollably, they want to now retreat to the barrels, the sewer systems. Let's head to the bunkers. Be there in 10 mics. Head down to the bunkers ASAP. They're standing in the fucking dark. Like I told y'all, I Am Legend. When he went in there to get his dog and the motherfuckers in the dark breathing heavy, that was the aerosexuals. They was all gathered up. They had to have a moment. And I would think if they was having that moment, they would come out into the light and leave that shit in the darkness. But they didn't. They're so fucked up in the head of this ass whooping that how is the medical field going to be able to hold staff come December? When Terrence Crawford goes back in there and deliver another crucial ass whooping again, how are they going to withstand that shit? I swear to you, before the Lord God Almighty, please don't let the rapture be in December. Allow this fight to play out first. Allow this fight to play out, okay? Before you come back. That's all I ask, Father God. You know what I'm saying? Because this is something that I can talk about in heaven. For real. I mean, what better conversation to have walking down those golden, no, that's what I heard. The streets of gold, talking about the last thing you witness in the sport of boxing. I mean, come on, man. That would be the conversation to have. For real. That would be the conversation to have right there. Did y'all see it? Yeah. Jim Gray came up there and Jimmy Lennon Jr., they came up there and made it official. All I saw was this light come down and now I'm here. I'm where I'm at. But I feel good. I feel relieved that I was able to see that before I left. Jesus Christ. Did you bet any money on the fight? Okay, cool. I mean, goddamn, let the rapture be after the fight. You know what I'm saying? Let it be after the fight. I swear, dog. Ugas is like Bud. He didn't get out of shape. He consummate professional. That he is. I agree, Randy. Shout out to Randy on deck. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Paulie said justice for Ugas. You ain't lying, right? Justice for freaking Ugas, man. He's a good dude, man. Real talk. I talked to him on like several occasions at fights. Good dude, man. Real good dude. Throw in the towel. I can hear the Arrow fans' boys screaming at TV when Crawford was dog walking Arrow. Hey, T, salute to you in the building. I disagree. I don't think they were saying throw in the towel. I think the aerosexuals mentality is just like Diddy James. They didn't want no towel to be thrown in. They thought he had a chance to come back. That's what happened when you overly indulge yourself in biasness. You know what I'm saying? You overindulge yourself in biasness, man. They thought it was going to be a moment that he can land the shot. The shot, y'all. That's what they thought. That's what they thought. They thought Errol would land the shot to change the momentum of the fight. Even when he was getting toe up from the flow up. Beat down, scattered on the ground, all over the canvas. You know what I'm saying? Going through the orientation of the Canvas University. I don't know if I jinxed him, but I did put next on him. And God damn it, he was absolutely next. He went through that orientation like a champ. I mean, a former champ, that is, a former champ. I mean, I can't say champ without putting former in it. Former champ. You know what I'm saying? Because we all know who the active champ is. You know what I'm saying? Right there, Ricky. Right there, BF. Huh? I don't care. All I want, the best fight, the best. But I just got audio that's saying that's not true. Don't be a coward now, dude. You know what I'm saying? Don't be a coward now. You're not the best fighting the best. You don't care about the results. That's bullshit. I have to hold you accountable for that bullshit. Because your bullshit is too much. Bullshit in one area of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You said that this man Crawford had to be 100% to beat Spence. But Spence didn't have to be 100% to beat Crawford. Well, how did that play out July 29th, dummy? Huh? How did that play out? What did you consider Errol Spence to be 100% or less than 100%? Because if you didn't think he was 100%, then that would absolutely debunk the bullshit you was out here pushing. Because you said he can beat Crawford less than 100%. Come on now. Who's out here sounding like they don't know shit about boxing? Stop it. Shout out to the Lost Art of Boxing, bro. Salute to you on deck, man. What it do? You know, your string is swollen up where you can see the holes for your air follicles clearly through your skin. Oh, that's why I had to zoom in on that shit, dog. I got close on this motherfucker. And look, I took it off the big screen too. That's the crazy part about that. The hair follicles are exposed from the swelling, dog. How dare Bud Crawford inflict this type of senseless act of violence? Boy, it made me want to go out here and get a goddamn fish, a seafood platter right goddamn now. Because that was some good eating. That was a good eat. That fish fry was good, dog. Oh my God. W says clothing is banned in 11 states in the continental US. Hey, they still got those little areas now. I told you they got those little areas. You know what I'm saying? Those little areas that's off limits to the average. Don't have no GPS connection, no coordinates, none of that shit. They out there, bro. They out there. Maybe they building up this Errol Spence. They're preserving his body to bring him back 15, 20 years from now. Totally reconstructed, basically switching out the organs, brain transplant. They're building an ultimate fighter, the ultimate pressure fighter that will basically rule and dominate in 20 years. I think that's what may be going on, bro. Because the aerosexuals say, that wasn't Errol Spence. That wasn't Errol Spence. I declare to you that wasn't the real Errol Spence. It wasn't. I denounce. Lou W says to the rest of the family, damn, I'm late. Got to go back and watch what I missed later. Talk Glove Boxing in the building, man. Hey, you know what it is, man. Trying to get back in the groove. You know what I'm saying? Trying to stay buckled in. It's a day-by-day process, but appreciate the ones who pulled up today, man, for the Sunday service. You know what I'm saying? This hot grease. You know what I'm saying? That's all. I was here to do. Shout out to Bud Crawford beats. No credit, Canelo Alvarez. Savagery at his best on a Sunday. You know what I'm saying? He got kicked out the Illuminati, man. Everyone is against him. Crawford did a secret deal with Al Heyman and Floyd. They allow Bud to juice and eat his Scooby snacks to teach Spence a lesson. Damn, I did not think about that. I did not think about the Scooby snacks. Even though I actually grew up watching Scooby Doo in the gang. Yes, sir. Scooby-Doo. Oh my God, dog. I did not think he was on some Scooby snacks, dog. I just think he was on the snacks. You feel me? I just thought he was on the snacks, not the Scooby snacks. Is the Scooby snacks legal in boxing? Because if indeed Crawford already knows that the Scooby snack, did he take a Scooby snack with him in combination with the snacks? We have to figure that out. Bud in the rematch, he would get it back in blood. Salute. But check this out. Bud Crawford. No beats, no credit, Canelo. Check this out, though, dog. Come on. Stay with me. Why does Bud need it back in blood while you're looking at this picture? Does he truly need it in blood, dog? Let's just look at he swelled up this man's whole facial mask. No. We're not talking about spa. We're not talking about that type of mask. He basically collected this man's entire facial mask, both eyes, nose, an entire skeletal front structure. He collected that shit. Do he truly need it back in blood with the knockdowns? I don't think so, man. I don't think so, man. I don't think so, because you know what? That third man is going to be in the ring again to save this man again. And we're going to be talking about and just another Bud TKO. Yes, it is. I was watching some video by Aerosexual after the fight, and he was saying what we saw was like the Matrix. What we were seeing wasn't real. It was an illusion. God damn, dog. Hey, Paulie, you didn't report them to the nearest freaking federal bureau. You didn't go find the dudes who handle like phenomenon investigations, unidentified humans, alien activity. You didn't source that, dog. You didn't put in anonymous complaint, because these dudes love putting in anonymous complaints over here in the YTC, y'all. You didn't find the black web over here in the YTC for them to file an anonymous complaint. You should have, dog. You know, they up here talking about freaking the Matrix and all that shit, man. Shout out to William on deck, man. What's good? Michael, what's good? What they think happens when you get hit in your eye over and over. But like was just mentioned, like Paulie just said, they was up here believing that they was looking at the Matrix. That's what they was thinking. You're trying to tell me a black man from Omaha, Nebraska, who I never seen on any of the Matrix movies, you're telling me that he was the absolute original star, the lead actor that was supposed to be in the Matrix instead of Reed? You're trying to tell me Crawford is the one? No, shut the front and back and side door. You're trying to tell me Crawford is the one? Why they didn't cast him in the movie then? Is he going to be casted in the next one? I saw him in Creed now. I didn't quite agree with that, because Jose Benavidez got the fight, and you know Crawford beat Jose Benavidez, but why Crawford wasn't in there, you know, doing the ass whooping on Michael B. Jordan? I mean, there's questions that need answers. God damn it! Now, hearing this Matrix shit though, is Crawford really the one? Oh my God, is he the one? That is amazing. That's interesting. Very intriguing. Very intriguing. Very, very intriguing. To say the least, very intriguing. Errol almost took Danny out too. No, not at all. His face was bruised, but his eye sort of looked like Errol's eyes. I mean, one of his eye, he was bruised up. He chose to take that ass whooping for a check. Everybody and their mama know that the Danny Garcia that fought Jose Benavidez was very well the same Danny Garcia that could have fought freaking Errol Spence the same way. And he didn't because they boys. Come on now. Let me give you some proof. They're boys. They've been boys for a long time. Not just what we seen with the fight when they was at Gervonta Davis and Rolly Romero fight and they were sitting next to each other. But let me just remind you, right? Let me remind you how close of friends they were. What the hell? You know what I'm saying? Let me remind you now. You know what I'm saying? Look, it don't stop. They've been friends for quite some time now. They've been bosom buddies. You know what I'm saying? Aces for quite some time. Look at the hairstyles now. That was way back in the day. They still good friends now. You know what I'm saying? They still good friends, but back to the evidence. Shout out to Conquest in the building. JD on deck. Shadow Band, what's good? Snack don't matter. For real, right? Shout out to Unique Don on deck. Don Vaughn on deck. He said, check the account. I'm ready to go on vacation. This eye can go down. I'm putting on some big ass shades. I'm good. Put on some big ass shades. We good, man. Put us on the plane, the PJ. Crawford beat him so bad, they still consider him a rematch. Hey, sometimes, man, they say when it comes to abusive relationships, and they always say, why don't they just leave? This is a perfect example on why they don't leave. Because the aerosexuals believe that it can get better. If he goes in there and get that ass whooping again, they believe it's going to be better. They believe that the 54, the number 154, will change everything, y'all. They believe that this man was campaigning at the 147-pound division too long. And you know what? It's his time now because he was kicking empty soda cans down the road for too long. And the easy route ruined him. You know what I'm saying? The easy route ruined him. He picked up the WEC and the WBA title knowing he had that Omaha must at the end of the goddamn train tracks. At the end of the rails, he knew he had to go over there and fight Bud Crawford. And he believed that somehow along the way, that someone was going to lift that package off of freaking Bud Crawford, that WBO package. They thought they was going to be able to steal it. They thought they was going to be able to win. They was putting all their hopes and wishes and glory into Sean Porter. It didn't happen. It ruined him. He was unprepared. He said, oh, shit, man. When he was conceding, that was showing you a fighter didn't have no other options. See, if he would have went to the options of Al Heyman would have made the fight. He would say, fuck it, son. Hey, we're going to keep the belts longest, and then you can go up to 154, and you're still undefeated now. Don't take this fight. He wanted to take the fight. And look what happened. He got paid handsomely for it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to him. Jessica on that, I see you. Salute WCS in the chat. Finally caught a live. Appreciate you. Appreciate you pulling up. It was a clone. That wasn't Arrow. That's what I'm saying. That's what we got here. That's why I had to take it to the court of boxing. I had to bring it before the judge so they can try to figure this out. We need some clarity. We need some adjudication. We need to hand down some indictments and some stiff, harsh sentencings to these aerosexuals because they're going out here just putting on this facade, creating these lies, and I had to bring them to the court. I had to bring them because this shit is just out of control. These individuals are delirious, bro. Y'all hold on for a second. William on deck. Crawford dry rubbed the fish real nice. He did. No hot sauce. Even though that face looked like, God damn it. Hey, Crawford beat the hot sauce out of EJ, didn't he? EJ love hot sauce. He beat the hot sauce off that nigga, dog. He beat the hot sauce out his ass. That's why his face had all that bruising and shit, man. That hot sauce was coming out through them pores, dog. I'm serious, man. That hot sauce was all on his eyelids, top and bottom. Oh my God, saturated. I love hot sauce. That was one of the moments in the freaking the episodes, all access episodes, man. Like, goddamn, he made the point. Oh, hot sauce. You got my hot sauce. Got my hot sauce. Goddamn, Crawford don't like hot sauce, and it showed. He beat it out of his face. He said, "That's the closest area that I see you putting that hot sauce in through your mouth. Now, you're basically completing the oral consumption. So, goddamn, I'm going right for that damn facial structure, and that's what you see, man. I thought it was strawberries at first, but I said, no, this is hot sauce. He beating the hot sauce out that dude." Hey, big up to Victor Conte for hooking our boy with the snack. Hey, man, shout out to the snack program. Man, you're producing athletes out here, dog. And don't forget, Jerron Ennis is on the snack program, so y'all better keep that same energy now. You want to talk about the snack program being all enhanced and all that? Oh, so basically, y'all pretty much calling Jerron Ennis a cheat. You know what I'm saying? Devin Haney a cheat. Y'all calling all these fighters a cheat. You know what I'm saying? So keep the same energy now. Just don't make it about Crawford with the snack program. Don't do it. Don't do it, bro. For real. But hey, man, y'all hold this shit down, bro. It's about 2 hours, a little bit longer than I was able to do yesterday, but I appreciate y'all, man. Till next time, make sure y'all sub to the channel if y'all ain't sub. As always, man, shout out to the hottest chat in the MF game, man. A-Side Official. You already know what it is. Until next time, man, y'all make sure y'all get the notification, tune in for the content. I'm out.
Left jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss. Now you counting stars. Should've practiced more. Should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports. Subscribe.